Mr. Carneal spent 25 years immersed in the homosexual lifestyle. So, George, tell us, why is this onslaught from the LGBTQ community occurring in our culture at this time? It seems they've gone from fighting for societal tolerance to indoctrination, demanding that our culture embrace a minority lifestyle.
I think it's going to continue to get worse. I knew when they opened the floodgates, it's never going to be enough, really, until we look at the bigger picture of what the agenda is really about. And that is silencing Christians and all opposition to this agenda and anything that is pro family, pro Christian, pro life, pro America. It's just an agenda that's going to keep going until they can silence everyone.
Well, explain to us then, how is it that you, raised by a Southern Baptist minister, a father, came to embrace a gay lifestyle?
I really struggled with a lot of bullying when I was a kid. There was a disconnect with my male peers, and because of the demands of my father's ministry, and he wasn't around a lot, I think there was something in me that was missing male affection and male bonding. And I went through a lot of bullying. So when I first stepped into a gay bar at 18, it was the first time that men were looking at me differently and treating me differently. I wasn't getting the negative attention, but it was a positive attention. And it really became addicting because for someone who really didn't have that for 18 years of their life, I just quickly became addicted to that life, and it just descended within 3 years. By that point, I was already battling drugs and alcohol, depression. I had a sex addiction. I was a prostitute, and I attempted suicide, and it would still be 22 more years before God would finally get me out of that life.
There's a growing effort in states around the nation right now to adopt legislation prohibiting counseling that attempts to bring gays and lesbians out of the homosexual lifestyle. Your thoughts on that? Should we have laws banning conversion therapy?
Absolutely not. The way they tell it, they act as if every counselor out there is doing harm to an LGBT individual, and it's not the case. I've worked with both secular and Christian counselors, and everyone has been respectful of my journey, what I've been struggling with, even my faith. I have not had anyone harm me, and I've been through lots of therapy with lots of therapists. What they need to understand is there are LGBT individuals who do not want these feelings, and they want help getting that healing and wholeness that they want so they can have a family and children. That is their desire. And they have every right to seek out whatever kind of counseling they need to get that healing and wholeness. The LGBT activists and even the government does not have the right to step in and mandate and dictate that we have to be saddled with these feelings.
How should Christians then respond to these LGBTQ influences that we're now seeing in movies, films, politics, culture? What's your advice?
I know Hollywood is glamorizing it, and they are giving a sanitized version of what homosexuality is. But until you sit down and listen to the testimonies of every gay, lesbian, and transgender individual who has come out of that life, and you listen to the horror stories of what we've been through and the reality of that life, which I share in my book, it's not X-rated, but I don't sugarcoat it. But the life is so different from what Hollywood and what the media portray. And so when a Christian affirms this, they think that they're doing the most loving thing, but you're not. You're not only hurting that individual, and you're pushing them into a life of where they're not going to find any peace, happiness, or contentment, but you are pushing them into further rebellion against God. And I've seen the casualties of that life. And I'm warning Christians to stop affirming this. Tell them the truth in love. And just so you'll know, in the back of my book, I put all of the talking points that the LGBT activists and the Christian liberal theologians use, and I debunk that with scripture.
Okay, the book is From Queer to Christ, My Journey into the Light. George Carneal, thank you for sharing your time and insights.